Storm clouds gather. Our borders are beset by evil, both mundane and immortal. How long can we withstand this onslaught? We must form an alliance. We either die alone or survive together.
I concur. This threat is beyond any of us. With the Azur's guidance,
This is just another Elgates game. I see many leaders here, but you even speak for your people?
High King, this is not the time for short-sightedness.
Short? There'll be no alliance with elves while I'm High King. Only a reckoning.
We must not be blinded by our own need for power. This is the moment. Your choices will decide the fate of this world. And all that inhabit it. Make the right one!
It has been exactly 1 year since the release of Total War Warhammer 3. Somehow feels way longer than that and way shorter. I'm not really sure how to describe it. Maybe the warp's overtaking me, brother. I'm not sure, but while it's certainly been a bit of a roller coaster with plenty of ups and downs, I have great news to share today. Because Immortal Empires, the combined campaign that connects all three games, uniting the Warhammer world into a single cohesive experience, is now free to all owners of Warhammer 3, regardless of whether you own all the other titles or not. Which means, very simply, if you own Game 3, you now own the real reason most of us signed up in the first place. On this, the anniversary turn for what is promising to be a very exciting year for the trilogy. Ultimately, I think this is a business decision that Creative Assembly would have reached at some point anyway, and it's very possible they already had this planned, but I know for a fact they take feedback on board for topics like this one, and there is a big chance the timetable for this got moved up due to requests from the community. So, big shout out to Legend for getting the ball rolling, the content creators that advocated for it internally to CA. There's a lot of that kind of stuff that you don't necessarily see, but it does go on, and anyone who requested on forums or social media, thank you. I think this is a big time moment for the series that, with any luck, will breathe new life into Warhammer 3, get a lot more people playing again, and perhaps play a role in more support coming over the next several months and years. The more people get to play with and experience this game, the lower the barriers to entry, the better off we will be moving forward. And with that in mind, I am very curious to see what the player count jumps to over the next several days and weeks now that this announcement has been made public. We've been averaging around 18,000 players for the last 4 months or so. I imagine that number is about to get a healthy boost. And as of today, with the release of patch 2.4, Immortal Empires is no longer being called a beta. What does that actually mean? Apparently, not that much. It's really just a marketing term at this point, but it shows that CA feels comfortable enough calling it a full release now, even though support and development will still be ongoing, and apparently picking up pace this year. Unfortunately, patch 2.4 itself is quite unexciting. In fact, it's so underwhelming I'm not even going to spend time covering it. There's some quest battle fixes, and Carrack 8 Peaks is finally a 10-slot settlement for the Skaven, but very little in the way of exciting unit overhauls, fun balance tweaks, or campaign changes, so I am not going to enumerate them here. Kinda lame, but it appears the bulk of that work is being done for Update 3.0, the next patch on the horizon, which is being advertised as, and I quote, the game's most engaging and in-depth content drop ever, with a lot of news coming your way in the not-too-distant future. Bold claim indeed, only time will tell if it lives up to the hype or not. Now, patch 3.0, of course, is the big unveiling of the Dawizar. While we didn't technically get any new information about them in this trailer, we finally have explicit visual confirmation that it is actually them coming, and we saw that at the end of the teaser. It's like a 99.5% certainty before, now it is officially 100%. In the teaser, at the end, we see the fires of industry at work. Massive chains and cogwheels, sparks, lava, basically a smelting pit of sorts, with forced greenskins labor and a shadowy, somewhat stunty overseer cackling evilly in the foreground. Very reminiscent of the turn of Isengard in the Fellowship of the Ring, when Saruman first starts churning out orcs and weapons for the war effort in Middle-earth. Essentially the same idea here. Orcs and goblins are slaves in the plains of Zarduk. They're used as meat and muscle to churn out weapons, armor, and hell-forged constructs, and this is where Black Orcs originally hailed from, an attempt from the Dawizar to create this newer, smarter, more powerful breed of greenskin that would fight and work better, harder than anything that ever came before. The mission failed most successfully and catastrophically when they rose up in rebellion and almost toppled the ziggurat above Zar Nagrund, and then finally made good on their escape. Of course, the Darklands are famous for their fires of industry. It's what defines the Chaos Dwarfs as a race, and deep within the Tower of Gorgoth, the Black Fortress, Uzkalak, and Zar Nagrund itself, you would see scenes just like this one just about everywhere, with overseers and demonsmiths directing Greenskin's labor, sending acrid black smoke billowing into the sky as powerful things are forged. The ones in this trailer appear to be building train tracks, funnily enough, which is an important element of Dawizar infrastructure and of their unit roster, where they could connect multiple artillery segments to an Iron Demon war engine with slicing and bludgeoning melee tools up front, or powerful assault cannons to blow apart enemy formations as it charges into melee. Essentially, you could have a gigantic artillery train of doom caboosing around the battlefield, blowing everything to smithereens. A literal mobile artillery train that would double as a chariot in CQB. While there will almost certainly be components of that present in their DLC, on the unit roster side, it may also play a factor on the campaign map too. Remember back to Fall of the Samurai, you could quickly transport troops across Japan with a built-up railway system, and that would be a very logical feature to add here, allowing you to quickly reinforce in territories far afield and sell shipments of weapons and armor to the other armies of chaos and bolster your economy that way, which in the lore is exactly how many Northern warbands get their Chaos Plate, Hell Cannons, and other instruments of war. They go directly to the Dawizar. So while that teaser didn't show a whole lot, it showed enough, and a couple little interesting tidbits there might be hinting at content soon to come. Still no word on the Mirror of Madness yet. Considering there is no mention of it in the patch notes, I think it's fair to assume we will not see or hear anything about it until the next update, which will be Chaos Dwarfs in March or April, it seems like. And as for the trailer itself, some really amazing cinematic shots. Arguably a better trailer than the original combined campaign trailers for either Game 2 or Game 3. And I want to watch it back with you guys because I think it'll be fun. So when the trailer kicks off, we are somewhere in the Empire, presumably Altdorf, and beginning a little bit of an end times escapade, trying to get all the forces of order on one side to see eye to eye. Gorgons, Cygors, and Kazarak One-Eye leading his Brayherd, Grimgor Ironhide and a rogue idol leading his Wa, Archaon, Daniel, Sigvald, and the hordes of chaos descending upon a Kislevites city. Presumably Prague, because it's quite often on the front line in the wars against chaos for the frozen north. And here, Cathay is in ruins. The Dwarf Empire is being torn apart. Kara's Anchor is falling to pieces under a withering salvo from the Greenskins. And Karl Franz is like, hey yo, we better start teaming up. Now, I gotta say, they really made Thorgrim and the Dwarfs look terrible here. I know they're stunty grudge gnomes. I know they can be pretty bickery, and of course they have tons of hatred in their heart for the Elgi. War of the Beard and all that. But when Malekith and the Druchii are marching on Ulthuan, when Archaon has united the slavering hordes of chaos, when the Skaven have begun their Vermintide surface purge, when the very roots of civilization are threatened, and it is clear all your enemies are of one mind, you cannot be that guy, and Thorgrim is that guy. Teclis is speaking reason, Karl Franz is speaking reason, everyone else is chill, and then the Dawi are just like, grumble, grumble, gonna plop a few more turds in my stupid little book. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing at this point, and then everything devolves. Order, why can't you just get it together, man? If Chaos can get it together, you might as well be able to. Some really incredible cinematic shots here, though. Kugath, Plaguefather, and Nurgle taking on Mazda and Lustria. Gotrek and Felix taking on Scarbrand. This is so sick. Ulthuan under assault from Kairos Fateweaver and the forces of Tzeentch. Nakari in the Empire, desecrating a statue of Sigmar. And then Archaon in Prague. Would have really loved to have seen Kolek peer over the walls there. That would have been a really nice touch. Wolfric's in Cathay, taking on a Terracotta Sentinel, brought another monster down. And then the Forces of Order, still bickering. Even Cathay is like, I don't want to be here anymore, man. These guys are stupid. Balakor, also in Cathay, a ruinous chaos portal directly behind him. And then Galmaraz comes down. I don't know how that didn't break the table. I mean, it's literally the hammer of Sigmar, and he slammed that thing down. Think it'd be powerful enough to shatter a marble table or what have you. But he's gonna get everyone in line, by golly, and this is where it gets sick. Bretonia, Ride of the Rohirrim, storming the Pelennor fields against the undead. Grombrindal the White Dwarf and Tyrion with Sunfang fighting back-to-back against the Skaven and Dark Elves. Really cool shot there. Soulless Gingers, charging out of the trees. Blade Singers, Orion, King of the Woods, and Oxyotl, he who hunts unseen. Goddamn Hyro Titan, taking on a Necrophix Colossus and blowing its leg off with laser vision. Cetra the Imperishable, showing Grom the Paunch what a real chariot is. Actually, I think everyone died there. And then Zhao Ming, Balthazar Gelt, firing rockets and Hellstorm rocket batteries, exploding the Vermintide. Welcome to Astalia, gentlemen. Yeah, no, I mean, it gets me hype. It gets me real hype. Karl Franz on Deathclaw, facing down the hordes of Chaos Undivided. All four gods represented, Kislev and the Empire teaming up. And if this doesn't get you excited for the combined campaign, I don't know what will. So, if you guys have not played IE before, imagine a lot of you guys, it's not going to be as exciting because you'll have already been very invested in the trilogy and in the series up to this point. But I think there are going to be a lot of new viewers and a lot of new people coming to join. So I hope you guys have fun with it. Enjoy your first campaigns. And if there's anything in particular you'd like me to cover, I can certainly look into doing some campaign videos that maybe help out on some of those starting issues that certain factions might face. For example, Kugath Plaguefather, a lot of people complained about how hard it is to deal with Helman Gorst. I could probably give you guys some tips and tricks how to deal with those kind of situations if you'd like to see that. But of course, plenty of awesome battles coming very soon as well. See you all in the next one.